In the early 20th century, baseball wasn't just a sport. It was a national ritual, a place where legends were born on dusty diamonds. Heroes emerged from working-class neighborhoods to capture America's heart. But in 1919, the game's innocence didn't just fade, it shattered. And the explosion came from a single team, the Chicago White Sox. To understand the scandal, you have to understand baseball back then. Players were bound by the reserve clause, a legal leash that tied them to their teams indefinitely. Salaries were low, contracts were tight, and owners had all the power. Charles Comiskey, the owner of the White Sox, was notorious even by those standards. His team was a powerhouse, stacked with talent, but he paid them like spare parts. Rumors swirled that he'd lock up bonus money, that he made players wash their own uniforms, that he'd bench guys to avoid paying them incentives. Some called him a brilliant businessman. Others said he was cheap to the point of cruelty. The key thing is, resentment was brewing in that clubhouse long before any gambler whispered a single offer. The team itself was divided. On one side, you had the clean Sox, players who just wanted to win honestly. On the other were the frustrated, angry, underpaid guys who felt they carried the team while Comiskey pocketed the profit. And right in the middle stood the man who would become the scandal's gravitational force. First baseman Chick Gandil. Gandil was a brawler, a hustler, with gambling connections stretching far beyond Chicago. He knew the underworld, he knew the bookies. And he knew that the 1919 White Sox were a perfect storm of talent and discontent. As the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds approached, gamblers from across the country began circling like sharks. They sensed an opportunity. And the players? They sensed leverage. Gandil became the architect. He approached pitcher Eddie Cicotte, first the team's ace. Cicotte claimed Comiskey had denied him a $10,000 bonus by benching him late in the season. When he agreed to the scheme, the plot became real. Next came Lefty Williams, the second pitcher, burdened by debts and tempted by easy cash. Then outfielder Happy Felsch, infielder Swede Risberg, and utility player Fred McMullen, who reportedly overheard the plan and threatened to expose it unless he was cut in. Buck Weaver heard the talk and stayed silent, though he insisted he never agreed to fix games. And then there was shoeless Joe Jackson, one of the greatest hitters the game has ever known. Illiterate, soft-spoken, and beloved by fans. Conflicting accounts of his role have haunted baseball for over a century. Some say Joe joined willingly. Others claim he was tricked, threatened, or just misunderstood. But in the end, his name would be etched among the 8 forever known as the Black Sox. The gamblers backing the fix were a chaotic mix. You had small-time hustlers like former pitcher Sleepy Bill Burns and a rogue boxer named Billy Maharg. And behind them, mysterious financiers who operated in the shadows. They promised big money but delivered confusion, threats, and double crosses. Game 1 of the World Series was supposed to send the signal. Eddie Cicotte drilled the first Reds batter in the back, a prearranged sign to gamblers that the fix was on. Fans just thought he lost control of a pitch. But those in the know saw everything. Cicotte pitched poorly, and the Reds won. Money changed hands in back alleys and hotel rooms, but the promised payday didn't come. Gandil got some cash, but others were left waiting. Anger began to simmer. Game 2 followed the same pattern. Lefty Williams intentionally missed his spots. Plays in the field were mishandled. The fix seemed to be working. But by Game 3, the players sensed danger. They were losing on purpose, but not getting paid. Meanwhile, other gambling syndicates had caught wind of the plot and wanted control. Threats started circulating. Some gamblers demanded the Sox keep losing. Others wanted them to win to manipulate the betting odds. By Game 4 and 5, confusion reigned. Some players, furious at being shorted, started trying to win again. Others stuck to the plan. Bettors across America were frantic. The press began noticing irregularities. Even fans felt something was off. The World Series had become a live battleground between players, gamblers, and fate itself. By Game 8, the whole fix had collapsed into chaos. The Sox tried to rally and win the series outright, but it was too late. The Reds finished the job, taking the championship. The scandal could have ended there, just rumors and whispers. But the media was growing, and investigative journalism was becoming a force. In 1920, a Philadelphia gambler finally spoke openly about the scheme, igniting a firestorm. A grand jury was convened. One by one, the players were summoned. Eddie Cicotte cracked first. He walked into the courtroom and confessed everything: his frustration with Comiskey, the temptation, the regret. As he spoke, the room fell silent. Shoeless Joe Jackson was next. He allegedly signed a confession that prosecutors handed to the press, though he later insisted it was false, coerced, or misunderstood. Historians still argue over whether Joe was guilty, innocent, or something heartbreakingly in between. Lefty Williams, Happy Felsch, Risberg, and McMullen all told their stories, painting a picture of greed, lies, and blinding fear. But as the trial approached, something extraordinary happened. The confessions disappeared. Key evidence vanished. Rumors suggested they were stolen, or maybe hidden by Comiskey's lawyers. Whatever the reason, the effect was devastating. Without the confessions, the players walked free. Legally, they were acquitted. But freedom did not mean absolution. In 1921, baseball's new commissioner, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis, stepped forward. He declared that no player who had participated in the fix, regardless of what a court said, would ever play professional baseball again. His words were thunderous. Regardless of the verdict of juries, no player who throws a game will ever again play professional baseball. And just like that, 8 careers ended. Eddie Cicotte returned home, a banished man. Buck Weaver begged for reinstatement until the day he died, insisting he only knew of the plot but never joined it. Shoeless Joe retreated to smaller leagues, playing on dusty ball fields for crowds who still adored him despite the stain on his name. The Black Sox scandal became the wound baseball tried desperately to close. Some fans turned away, others demanded reform. The scandal forced changes that transformed baseball, bringing in stricter oversight and a new understanding of the need to protect the game's integrity. And yet the most haunting legacy isn't the bans or the trial, it's the human tragedy. 8 men who felt trapped between poverty and opportunity. 8 men who made choices that would follow them forever. Their names became cautionary tales. Was it about greed? Yes. Was it about justice? Yes. But it was also about a system that pushed players to the edge and then punished them when they fell. The Black Sox scandal is not just a story of guilt. It's a story of circumstance, pressure, and flawed men in a flawed era. It's a reminder that heroes are human, that legends can break, and that even our most beloved institutions can harbor darkness. Baseball survived, it reinvented itself. But beneath it all, the shadow of 1919 remains. A warning, a lesson, a tragedy carved into the soul of the sport, shaping the game we watch today. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to subscribe for more.